I've got some rust spots on the van, although the van's in very good condition. This is probably the worst of the rust here. It's like a little patch on the edge of the panel. It's going to be very difficult to blend in. I'll zoom in on that so you can see. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at repairing that. I've decided to start on this one by the driver's door. I've removed this piece of trim from the clips, and I've noticed there's a little bit of rust down there as well. In order to remove the trim, I use one of these plastic trim tools. Probably not the right one, but that's the one I used. And I'm going to give it a clean up and see what I'm dealing with. Now I've cleaned off the area and removed these little trim clips with the plastic tool, giving it a good cleaning, you can more accurately see that not only have I got that rust patch there to deal with, but I've also got this rust patch down here to deal with as well. Highly likely that there will be other patches underneath the side trims that I need to deal with, but today I'm going to deal with these two, and well, we'll see how we get on. And before I put the panel back, of course, I'm going to seal these trim clips with some Sikaflex. Right, I've put my little brass wire brush into my drill, and I'm going to take out some of this rust here and see how well it goes. I'm using brass because it's a little bit softer than steel. See how it goes with doing that. I've ground out the rust the best I can with the wire brush here and here. There's still some rust in there that I can't seem to get out, so I'm going to get some. I'm going to get my grinder on that a little bit and give it a little bit of a grind. Try and get it back down to clean metal before I actually put the K-rust on to stop the rust going any further. Now I'm going to use this little tool with this grinding bit on the end here just to take down some of the rust a little bit more. This is brand new, got it the other day. It's from Vanhouse, and I think I picked it up for about £25, or was it £29? Nice little kit. Now, because I'm only dealing with a very small area on the van, and I want to get the detail right in the corners and make sure that I get all the rust out and I leave the metal in reasonably good condition, I'm going to be using this little tool again, but this time I've got a little sanding drum on there just to smooth off some of the grind marks I've made. I wouldn't normally use a tool this small for grinding out rust, but as I'm dealing with such a small area, detail important. Right, you have a look at that metal now. Shiny. Got a huge amount of dust out there, and that's quite smooth now. I'm going to put some K-rust on, mask it up a little bit more, put some K-rust on, and just to seal any pinpricks of rust, and then give it a quick rub down, and then fill it. Probably might not need filling actually. I might just be able to get away with the filler primer that I've bought. Cool. I'm using this Hammerite K-rust to treat my rust spot, and I've got a little brush here and I'm just going to apply it.
What's waiting up ahead? Language I don't understand, a brand new destination. My heart is in my hands. The golden sky is changing, the light begins to fade. Thought I'd never make it, but my journey's almost made. My journey's almost made. I'll keep going. My feet on the ground, the wheels keep turning till the sun goes down. I know I must keep moving on to find the place where I belong. I must keep moving on. I know I must keep moving on to find the man that I've become. I must keep moving on. I'll keep going. My feet on the ground, the wheels keep turning.
I'm going to give it a quick spray with some grey primer. Okay, I've given it 3 coats of the primer. Now I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to rub it down with some wet and dry paper. See what it looks like. Now I've given it a rub down with some 240 grit wet and dry paper, and I'm just going to give it another coat of the primer. This area on the back of the van is quite nasty. It's in an area that is highly visible, and it's extremely pitted. I had to go at it with the wire brush, but clearly I've not managed to get it all off, so I'm going to have to attack it with the miniature grinding tool, see what I can do.
The sun goes down. Till the sun goes down. goes down, the sun goes down, the sun goes down, the sun goes down.
Now, you can't get every single little spot of rust out, and I don't want to take it down any further. So what I'm going to do is get the sander on it now. Now, have a look at that. It looks a lot cleaner. Okay, rust next. Okay, now I've got a little bit of filler. I'm going to add some hardener in a second, and I'm going to put some filler on the damaged area. I'm going to use an old credit card. Not brilliant, but it'll do. Right, using a piece of 600 grit on a piece of wood, I'm going to sand this down. Okay, I've primed and rubbed down the area. I've masked it off, and now I'm going to spray the area. Give it one coat and then wait. Okay, so after 7 coats of the paint, it's looking very nice indeed. I'm going to let it harden off 24 hours. I'm going to give it a rub down with some 2000 grit paper, and then give it a lacquer coat, or perhaps 3 lacquer coats, something like that, and then I'll buff it all up with a bit of tea-cut maybe, and that's a good job. Pleased with that. Right, today I'm going to rub down the area with this 2500 grade wet and dry paper to blend in the edges of the new paint before I put on a coat of lacquer. I'm using this sponge just to hold the paper. And a little bit of water. Now the real key here is just to blend the edges of the where you've got the new paint. It's very difficult to see where the edges of the new paint is, because the colour match is so good. In fact, I can't see the edges at all. Give it a dry off and see whether I can see where the edges are. I think I can see the edge here. Very difficult to see. Now I'm going to give this a coat of some of this clear lacquer, because that is actually pretty good. I mean, the paint looks a little different there, probably because it hasn't got any lacquer on it, but that repair is really good. Well, there it is, guys. It's all done. Buffed up. Can't see any sign of the rust. Blended in. Lovely job. Now I purchased some of these little foam buffing pads. And I'm going to use this just to buff up the area with some T-cut. This is a tube of T-cut I'm using. I'll put a few drops on the end of my sponge and I'll see whether I can flash that. Spraying a bit. Well, that's pretty good. I'll just let it dry for a minute and have a look. And that area is also done. Very pleased with that, just as it's starting to rain.